Teddy turned and silently walked up the mountain, tossing and turning all night. He had already figured out that the man was definitely the elusive troublemaker the boss mentioned. Still, he wondered how this guy managed to survive. He hesitated to tell the man he was considered dead and no longer hunted. After a night's thought, he decided to share the news. But he didn't know the man's whereabouts, lost in the mountains. About to give up, the man suddenly appeared behind him like a ghost. "What are you looking for?" Teddy cut straight to the chase. "I need to talk to you. I know you're being hunted for murder. You seem in by myself. In fact, you can put your trust in me." "You can call me D." Upon hearing Teddy's candid words, the man unveiled his face for the first time, one that was supposed to be shocking. But this shocking news didn't faze him. Years of isolation dulled his conversational skills. As gratitude, he decided to take Teddy into the forest for some free hunting lessons. What a generous guy. After a long search, they finally spotted a deer. With a simple pull of the trigger, the poor deer dropped like it was auditioning for drama. Next, he taught Teddy how to handle the catch. After they butchered and brought the prize back to Teddy's cabin, he poured a drink for the silent hunter. The man hesitated, furrowed his brow, and downed the drink in one go, having not touched alcohol in over a decade. He was suddenly a bit tipsy. Finally breaking the silence, the man decided to share a bit about himself, saying he'd been living here for a whopping 12 years. His home was on the other side of Lake Baikal. After answering, he asked Teddy about his job curiously, and Teddy replied plainly, "I'm into multitasking, looking for some cash. I'm just hunting for dough." Upon hearing Teddy's answer, the man fell silent again. Taken aback, he soon lost interest after a few words and told Teddy, "This place isn't exactly human-friendly." Then, quietly, he left with his catch. Next day, while Teddy was chopping wood, a helicopter suddenly invaded the silence of the tundra. Spotting the chopper zooming overhead, Teddy suddenly remembered something, grabbed his shotgun, and dashed into the woods, shouting at the top of his lungs. "Thank goodness I didn't have to search long this time," the man replied to his call, seeing Teddy sprinting towards him. Proudly, he added that the chopper was just some rich kid playing hunt. "They are not here to catch you." Once the helicopter finally left, they followed the blood trail to track the wounded prey, only to suddenly spot a blizzard brewing in the distance. The seasoned man led Teddy away quickly, but they were soon engulfed by the blizzard. Knowing there was no escape, the man skillfully led Teddy to an ice cavern by the lake, a perfect hideout. They quickly squeezed inside and blocked the entrance with snow, providing temporary shelter from the storm, but it was still cold enough to make Teddy shiver. The man solemnly warned Teddy not to fall asleep, because in such a perilous environment, once you do, the chances of waking up diminish drastically, and the risk of death skyrockets instantly. To distract Teddy, the man launched into his backstory. He said he used to be a comrade with someone in his youth. 10 years later, they ran into each other, and the comrade excitedly invited him over. After a long separation, they toasted together and got tipsy. His comrade boasted about his career, upsetting him due to his own struggles. The comrade's wife returned, saw his mess, and ordered him to leave. An argument broke out, and surprisingly, the comrade punched him. Losing his cool, he grabbed a knife and made a decision he'd regret for the rest of his life. After that, he embarked on a 12-year-long escape, during which he didn't dare to go back and visit his wife and kids even once. Listening to the man's confession, Teddy suddenly chimed in. The man looked up to regard him. Sensing Teddy's kind words, he finally lowered his guard, quietly admitting, "Alexei, that's me." They lost track of time until the blizzard finally waned, and they crawled out of the ice cave to see the tundra clear again. Sharing a knowing, Alexei led Teddy to his cabin. Upon entering, Teddy was drawn to the wall markings. Those long and short cuts whispered tales of the man's solitude and loneliness. Alexei pulled out a photo of his child to share with Teddy, telling him that in 3 years he could finally return home to see his family. Those few brief words expressed full of longing and hope. Though trapped in the wilderness, Teddy could distinctly feel how bright and fierce Alexei's hope burned, while he himself seemed to possess a facade of freedom, with his spirit bound in melancholy. I thought I had time for family and a place, but was struck down. Back in the day, I found myself rolling out the dough with great skill. This time, it's gonna move. So I quit my job, dropped everything, and ran here. I wondered if I had a spiritual world. Luckily, I've never felt so relaxed. I realized this is what I've been searching for. Listening to Teddy, Alexei fell silent. Clearly, they both longed for freedom, yet pursued it in completely different ways. For Teddy, freedom meant escaping noise for isolation. For Alexei, it meant going home with loved ones. Though their pursuits of freedom were polar opposites, it didn't stop them from slowly bonding in this forsaken wasteland. They fished together on the ice, living like a couple of cheerful buddies.